Welcome everybody to whatever we're going to name this podcast. We don't have a name for it yet, but
No, we don't.
this is your boy Shane G.
What's good? I'm Eric G,
And,
aka Eric G Life.
Yeah. And Midwest Coast Network and all that. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. It's a wrestling podcast for sure. Again, we'll name it at some point. But, we got some cool stuff to talk to you all about. You know what I mean? We're just two brothers who watch a lot of wrestling. I've watched it basically my whole life. You know what I mean? So I've shared my love of wrestling with my brother over the years, and now he's a big fan too. And so, you know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about it. So it was good.
Absolutely. Shout out to our boy Scully for presenting this idea to us and for just having me hype about it for pretty much the past 2 days. I can't wait to talk about this on here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was his idea. If y'all watched the or listened or watched the Midwest Coast podcast from this past week, the Russia versus Ukraine episode, that was actually where the idea for this podcast was birthed. So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know that. That's a fact. So, you know what I mean? Shout out Skull. But so we got some topics we're gonna get into, you know what I'm saying? First, we could just cover the basics though. What made you get into wrestling? You know, what's your history with it and all that kind of stuff. So
right. Well, the first time I remember seeing anything wrestling related is actually funny because it reminds me about your first time that you ever first saw something wrestling related. And it was in Mount Clemens in Marvin's basement. And you guys were watching some pay-per-view. I don't remember what pay-per-view it was, but I remember you guys just being so glued and into it. And whenever I first saw that show, I don't remember what WrestleMania was. It might have been the WrestleMania where Steve Austin won the title from Shawn Michaels. It might have been that one.
Okay, with Mike Tyson.
Yeah, with Mike Tyson. And when I just saw that and just saw how you guys just reacted to certain things that like happened, like especially like me looking back on it being older now, like the Kane and the Undertaker moments, like now I get it. Like now I understand why that was like so monumental to you when you were that age, because when I was seeing that, I was trying to basically understand what it was. Like I was trying to understand what wrestling was, like why you guys were so hype over this. And then to be older and look back on those moments and to like see those moments from when like I watched those on like VHS tapes when I was a kid and things like that. Like it's those moments like that that like made me fall in love with wrestling, and like just the certain characters that were involved in wrestling, like obviously like Stone Cold, Undertaker, The Rock, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart. Like you go down the list from on there. So like obviously from the names that I just rattled on, that tells you guys what era I kind of grew up in, the Attitude Era. That's where my start really comes at.
Yeah. So for me, actually I was able to kind of figure it out going back, because you know the older you get, it's like the more distant you are from your earliest memories, you know what I'm saying? So like I was able to kind of figure it out though, like watching the WWE network on Peacock, like just going back and like watching a lot of stuff in 1990 and stuff like that. I was like, okay, like I'm familiar with a lot of these dudes, but there's still certain people that I know I didn't watch these matches like when they happened. And then 91, it was like a little bit more, but still some dudes in there that I was like, nah, I'm not all the way familiar. Like I know I did history on you to figure out who you were. I wasn't watching you when you was active. Like 92, it starts getting a little clearer though. I'm like, okay, now I remember some of this, like when it happened, you know what I mean? So like 1992, pretty much is when I would say I really was watching wrestling and like have memories from, you know what I'm saying? So like I was, what's 1992? I'm like 5 years old in 92. So I would say that was pretty much it. So that was what did they call that? The new generation era is what that was called. So that was like Doink the Clown, Crush, Diesel, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, but not when he was like with the Hart Foundation. It was Owen Hart and Jim Neidhart at first. They were the New Foundation, and then Owen Hart and Coco Beware, they were High Energy. So that era, you know what I mean? And then so like the very tail end of Hogan's first run in WWE, like the Ultimate Warrior stuff, Savage was kind of doing more commentary. He would wrestle every now and then, but he was mostly a commentary guy at this point. So this was basically my introduction to it. I really got to see those dudes who were all real big in the 80s. I got to see them in action more actually in WCW because they all went over to WCW after that era. During the WWF's New Generation era, all those dudes were going to WCW, and that's when the NWO was forming and all that stuff. So so I really got to see a lot of those 80s guys shine in WCW during the 90s when they were building the guys who pretty much everybody now says are like the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like all those dudes, like your Bret Harts, your Shawn Michaels, your Triple H's, your The Rock, Stone Colds, all of that was, like you said, Attitude Era. Slightly before in the New Generation era, that was basically where I was really getting my feet wet in the wrestling thing. So yeah, for sure.
You know, another thing that kind of reminds me of that another thing that got me in that era was the video games.
Definitely.
The video games for sure.
Video games.
Yeah, you and Marv would always be at the crib playing the video games.
Yep, Warzone, Attitude. And then shout out to Kyle, my cousin Kyle. He had WCW versus NWO World Tour, I want to say it was, on Nintendo 64. And I used to love playing that game over at his crib.
Yeah, because like, didn't have the 64.
Yeah, and he was a cousin that I didn't like get to visit as often as some of the other ones, you know what I'm saying? So like that was always like just something I really got to look forward to when I would go over to his crib. It was like, oh snap, he's got the 64 with the wrestling game on it. That's right. Like it's gonna be lit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was always the thing. So
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about how important the video games were. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was another important thing that got me into it really quick because all the characters were on the games back then, the customization back then, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, well, let's get into it. So this happened today. Vince McMahon was on Pat McAfee's show.
Yeah, he was.
That was dope to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely wasn't what everybody thought. Everybody obviously thought it was going to lead into some work shoot angle that you know, would result in them wrestling at WrestleMania. Obviously, Vince just offered him a match. You know what I'm saying? He was like, you want to wrestle? He was like, yeah. So yeah, that's all that happened. You know what I'm saying? But the interview itself was pretty good.
Vince is still, I just can't believe that Vince is still doing some of the things that he's doing at his age. It's honestly incredible. Like,
I agree with that, but a lot of the things he was saying in the interview, though, it's like it's almost demonstrably proven that you're lying. You know what I'm saying? True. Like there was a lot of shit that he said that it was like, word, bro. Like, you hear yourself right now? Like all the stuff he was saying about, oh, we listen to the fans and I don't let my ego get in the way and all of this stuff. It's like, no, the fuck you don't. Like WWE fans have been complaining for the last year, 2 years, maybe, like, you know what I'm saying? Like loudly, like, before that, there were still complaints about like maybe Roman Reigns booking and certain people, you know what I'm saying? But like, it was still an overall more acceptable product, I feel like. But like in the last 2 years, it's just like, yo, it's nothing but rematches, like nothing but rematches, distraction finishes, DQ finishes, and Charlotte wins. Roman Reigns wins, Brock Lesnar wins, Becky Lynch wins. Yeah, that's it. Like, and you know what to expect out of WWE. This is the playbook for the last 2 years. Like, even after WrestleMania, like, let's be real. Bianca Belair wins the women's title. That's what's up. Ronda Rousey probably going to win the women's title as well. That's what's up. How long is it going to be before either Charlotte or Becky takes the belt off Bianca Belair?
Probably not that long.
Not that long.
Like, I would say within less than 6 months.
This is what I mean.
At max.
This is what I'm saying. Like, I have like, and so there's a reason why nobody has faith in WWE to like do the right thing. So for Vince to say, oh, well, we listen to the fans and we just want to do what's best for the fans and what the fans like and blah, blah, blah. And because they're the reason for our product. It's like, yeah, all that sounds good. But again, through your actions, we can see that that's not what's happening. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you never really do what we want y'all to do. Like,
he was very, very careful in this interview. And to piggyback on something earlier that I was saying, I wasn't talking about necessarily the things that he was saying. I was just mostly talking about the physical presence of Vince McMahon and how sharp he still is at the age that he still is. That's mostly what I was talking about.
Oh, no. I don't even walk away from that interview with all negative feelings about Vince McMahon, but that's some bullshit. That's all I'm saying.
I totally agree with
that's you. All I'm saying. That's not like complete nonsense. And it's like, come on, bro. Like, you're slapping me in the face by even saying that. Like
100%.
You know
There's a few people we're going to talk about later that'll totally prove that completely right.
But like, aside from that, like when he does the whole, this made perfect sense to me. When he goes, once we went public, it made it way easier for me to just make business decisions and for me to take how I feel about people out of it. Because he was like, when it was a private company and I was completely running it, he was like, you got to decide like, dang, such and such, his mom might have cancer, or his little sister might be hurt, or, he's got a family to feed and all of this, and you might not make the right business decision because you're getting your feelings involved or whatever. He was like, but once I made it public, now it's completely about the stockholders. You know what I'm saying? It's completely about profit and that's it. So every decision has to be 100% business wide. So I feel bad sometimes or whatever. He was like, but that has nothing to do with the actual decision. Like, I have to just do what it is for the business because it's a publicly traded company. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that is how it works in our society. Like, once you're a publicly traded company, from a legal perspective, your number one responsibility is fiduciary, which means money. You know what I'm saying? So from that perspective, like from a legal sense, he's not wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that makes a lot of sense when you see all these cuts and when you see all this shit, you know what I'm saying? He's like, purely from a business perspective, we are doing better financially than we ever have. That's all the stockholders give a fuck about. And we're a publicly traded company. So at the end of the day, that's all that matters. From that perspective, he's correct.
And that made
you know what I mean?
And that made a lot of sense too.
That made a lot of sense.
Especially when they started talking about the Saudi Arabia stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's when basically everything that you just said, like he summed all of that up in why he chooses to do business over there.
Yeah.
So like, all that made sense. What did you think about Pat McAfee like name dropping AEW? Were you surprised that he actually did that? And
I was a little bit
too, but I'm not surprised in how Vince answered that question. He was another moment when he was very, very careful, and
he was careful. He was careful, and he said a lot without saying a lot, because he basically said, yo, I love competition. You know what I'm saying? I love, going head up against people or whatever. So, okay. He's basically welcoming the competition. That's cool.
Right.
But again, we know your history, Vince. Like, you're notorious for shutting down the competition. So I don't know how much you actually mean that. I do think he means like, as far as no, not competition. That wasn't the word he used. He said confrontation, which that's I 100% feel, like
because competition and confrontation are two totally different words.
Very different things. So he's
competition is healthy.
Yeah.
Confrontation can mean I'm going to get you all the way out of here.
Exactly, which is what he's known for. So confrontation, he said he's up for. So that lets me know he acknowledges AEW. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to say their name. He may not view them as competition, but if I'll give you a confrontation though. Mm-hmm. And I'll squash you. You know what I'm saying? That's his attitude. I don't think that'll actually happen, but that's his attitude towards it. Because then he pivoted and he said the whole time, just to, respond back to what you were saying about Taker, he never once, said the word WCW to me, and I never said the word WCW to him during that whole time. So the only other company he even acknowledged during that exchange when Pat McAfee name dropped AEW and Ring of Honor
was WCW.
Was WCW. You know what I'm saying? So even that is a way for him to be like, you know what I mean? It's like he's acknowledging them without acknowledging them, basically, which, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
no, yeah, I definitely thought that was interesting. Even him,
because
even
the
said, Ring of Honor deal,
and then he said TNA and Impact too. He was like, "Well, there was TNA, for a little while, and now Impact has come back and they're doing all right." Pat McAfee said that, but again, Vince just didn't acknowledge it. You know what I'm saying? But what's he gonna say? Like, they just had Mickie James on there,
exactly,
who's the Impact Women's Champion. Like, everybody knows Impact's a thing. So, but I don't think he really looks at them too much as competition, really, because they're based out of Canada. They're not really an American company, so they just happen to have a lot of American wrestlers. But
I agree. Honestly, I wasn't really mad at the way that the WrestleMania thing came up when he offered Pat McAfee the match.
No, I wasn't mad at it either.
But the only thing that I will say is why advertise it like it's gonna come out as this big spectacle on the show, like, or fake put news out there like it's going to, and then for it like to just not even end up being like that.
Well, I mean, those were rumors though.
That's
so
true.
Who knows? Like, WWE never actually put out anything saying Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon.
Yeah, they never did.
That was all internet speculation. Yeah, just like Cody Rhodes. Like, this is all internet speculation so far. Like, he hasn't shown up in WWE yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so I mean, overall, I took a lot from it. Like, I took
he's still crazy as hell.
He's still crazy as shit. I do think that
he's still crazy.
I do think that it was dope that Pat McAfee didn't tone down really. He still was himself that whole interview.
No, he didn't tone down at all.
Like, he didn't tone down a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? He kept it Pat McAfee the whole time. And I appreciated that. So salute to Pat. But yeah, it was a good interview. You know what I'm saying? It's a good show. You know what I'm saying? I recommend it. So, salute. You want to do AEW Revolution predictions, or do you want to do the top 5 first?
Let's do the top 5 first.
You want to do top 5? Okay, so we got a question this week for both myself and the Eric G Life to answer, and that is, who are our top 5 male and female wrestlers in WWE today?
All right, before we go forward, are they active? Like, do they have to be wrestling? Do they? Okay. Now, when I say active, like, if they're on like injured status, does that matter?
No, that doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. Cool.
They just can't be like retired or extremely part-time or something like that.
Okay. You can start.
All right. I think the best wrestler in WWE period is Bianca Belair.
Yeah, we've had this conversation a lot.
Yeah, I think she's the best overall wrestler.
I think you might be right.
Period, man or woman. And the reason I say that is because pound for pound, nobody can do everything that she can do. So if you put Bianca Belair against any other woman of her same size or even bigger, like, she can do all the same moves that she can do to a smaller opponent.
Yeah.
Not every big guy can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, not every strong dude who can throw around little guys can pick up, well, he's gone, but could pick up Omos.
Right.
And do the same move. You know what I'm saying? Maybe Brock can, maybe John Cena would be able to, you know what I'm saying? There's like a few guys, you know what I'm saying? But not really. Like, for the most part, Omos, like a dude like that, you know what I'm saying? But like, when Bianca Belair would fight Doudrop or Nia Jax, who I would say is like size-wise would be the biggest, the closest equivalent, because they're the heavyweights of that division.
Yeah.
She can do all her same moves, including the power moves. And she's fast as shit. She can do like Lucha Libre style moves. You know what I'm saying? She can do, you know what I mean? Like, she can wrestle in every single style that there is, basically, at a high level. and she can do it against anybody that she faces. So that's why I say pound for pound, she is the best wrestler in WWE today. So she would be my number one female. My number one male is probably AJ Styles. I'm a Bullet Club elite guy, so it just kind of is what it is. Like, so AJ is probably my number one, probably for similar reasons, though, just because they kind of allow him a little bit more freedom in his matches.
Yeah.
To do things. He doesn't necessarily have the same like WWE style match, I guess you could say. He's allowed to, kind of do some of his Ring of Honor-y, New Japan-y type stuff.
Yeah.
Which, I like that in wrestling, you know what I'm saying? So I would put probably AJ's my number one guy. Bianca's my number one girl. I would say my number two girl is probably Rhea Ripley. My number two guy is probably Seth Rollins for similar reasons as AJ, minus the Bullet Club affiliation.
All right, so I'll pause you right here. So Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and AJ Styles, I agree with all the way across the board. I think pound for pound, you take all their attributes, you take all their skills, and I don't think anybody is touching them. And if anybody out there has never seen Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair NXT War Games match, look it up on YouTube. Incredible. It might be better than some of the singles matches that they've had in WWE. Like that might.
I'm sure
best.
It is.
Yeah, that's probably their best one. Incredible. So, based off that alone, and based off the fact that AJ Styles he basically hasn't changed up his style since he came in, and I'm just now figuring
his TNA days, like it's the same AJ, basically.
Right? And I'm basically just now figuring that out because now I'm going back and watching old AJ Styles matches and basically seeing that like everything that he's doing now, he was doing back then. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yep.
I think for me, my number two right now is Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
I think Bobby Lashley's come up since he came back in like 2018, 2019, whatever year that was. I think it was a rocky start, but I think once he got with MVP, that basically like changed his whole trajectory because it became kind of like that Paul Heyman to Brock Lesnar situation because Bobby wasn't that great on the mic, and he's in mad credit to Bobby Lashley because he's getting better on the mic.
He's getting a lot better.
He's getting a lot better, but for that beginning time, like MVP was really
he was his mouthpiece, and he was just the intimidating figure.
Yeah, so and he was coming out and he was delivering great squash matches, some great matches with like people like Biggie and people like Drew McIntyre. So like he's like within the past couple of years, he's really proven himself. And I just think Bobby's doing great things right now. So yeah, he's my number two.
Yeah, I would say he's probably my number three for the same reasons that you just said. My number three girl is probably, I love Sasha Banks, but they just misuse her so bad, but I'm going to say Sasha. My number four dude is probably Shinsuke. I love Shinsuke. Love Shinsuke for the same reasons as AJ Styles. Though. I just like that New Japan style. Like that's why I like AEW so much. You know what I'm saying? They kind of bring that over, but I would say my four Shinsuke. My fourth woman is probably again poorly booked, but Shayna Baszler.
Yeah,
Shayna Baszler's up there.
Yeah, very underrated. But because of the way that they booked her.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And then my number five guy in wrestling for WWE is probably So what did I say? Let me see. So far, I got AJ, Seth, Bobby, Shinsuke. My number 5 is probably Biggie.
I like that list.
Yeah, my number 5 is probably Biggie. They didn't give him enough time with the championship, but they should have. He deserved it. And,
he did.
You know, he was over with the crowd and all of that.
He deserves another run.
He definitely deserves another run. He's talented, you know, he's strong. You know what I'm saying? He's almost a guy, Bianca Belair, but he's just not as agile.
Yeah.
Like he can't do the flippy dippy shit as well as she can.
Yeah.
Like he can jump high and like do splashes and do some top rope stuff every now and then.
But his frog splash, especially for a big guy, like that's what I'm really impressed with.
Like, he can jump, he can get up in the air, you know what I mean? But like he's not flipping, he's not doing the Hurricane Ranas, you know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. I think that's the one thing that separates Bianca. She can do that shit too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and then I guess my number 5 girl would be probably Charlotte or Becky. I don't know. They're kind of interchangeable. Like just because they're both great. So probably Charlotte though. If I had to pick one of the two, probably Charlotte. I think Charlotte is a better wrestler. So yeah, those are my top 5s.
Cool. So
yeah, so like one more time.
Yeah,
so
run it down. Run
it down. For the fellas, it's AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Shinsuke Nakamura, Biggie. For the ladies, it's Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair.
Cool.
I like the MMA chicks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like Sonya Deville a lot. I like Ronda, but again, she's kind of a part-timer, so that's why I don't really include her. But I like Ronda. I like Sonya, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Shayna Baszler, like anybody who can do like that type of stuff, who like they're like all like almost female, like Kurt Angles and Ken Shamrocks and early Brock Lesnar's. And I like that style of wrestling too. Like I either like that, a lot of like suplexes and holds and like submissions, like some Daniel Bryan type shit, or you know, Bret Hart, like how they wrestle. Like I like that style, or I like the lucha libre sort of, but like almost like more like the Japanese lucha libre, because it's like strong style and lucha mixed together, which is fire. So there you go.
All right, so my number 1 girl was like Shane said earlier, Bianca Belair. We went through that earlier. My number 1 guy is AJ Styles. Number 2 girl, Rhea Ripley. Number 2 guy is Bobby Lashley. And this is where I'll go into my little mini breakdowns next. My number 3 guy right now is I got to give it to Seth Rollins, and not only just because of how good of a wrestler Seth Rollins is, but throughout the past year, I have thoroughly enjoyed Seth Rollins' character.
Yeah.
His character has completely won me over. Like that was one of the main things that honestly kept me interested in Monday Night Raw, because without Seth Rollins on it, it was kind of like this show it's not really like a big driving home force. Like there's not much on there that's like keeping me locked in. But right now, like the character that him and Kevin Owens are doing together, like it's like a perfect marriage. It just works. So I think especially him building off of the stuff that he was doing with Rey Mysterio and Dominic, like during the pandemic, I think he just really like took that like asshole cocky attitude, and I think he just like took that into the feud with Edge and built something great off of it. And now we like basically have like the perfect in between Seth Rollins. Like you don't know if he's a heel, you don't know if he's a face, but you don't care because like everything he does is just great right now. So it's just like you don't even care if he's either or, because like literally everything he does is awesome. So that's another big reason. And then obviously like all of the reasons that Shane mentioned because of his wrestling style, all of the like amazing dives that he can do. Like he's one of the best at that. So Yeah, a lot of credit to Seth Rollins. I think my third favorite girl right now is I'm gonna give it to Liv Morgan.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm putting Liv up a little higher than who my fourth pick is about to be is just because I feel like Liv has really come into her own this year.
Yeah.
Because I feel like during the pandemic, like she went through a lot, like losing her Riot Squad tag team member and like figuring out like how to like navigate in like the singles like push era. Like even though like she lost to Becky Lynch, like I feel like the showing was still really good. I feel like her showing in the Elimination Chamber was really good. And I feel like with the exception of maybe like a few feuds and like the mix, I feel like all of her singles matches have been like put on to make her look good.
Yeah.
So like not only has she looked good, but like you can tell the improvement is just like steadily growing. So Liv Morgan definitely up there for me. My fourth guy is Biggie for kind of the same reasons that you mentioned. But yeah, man, I really wish they would have gave him a longer title run. And
yeah, bro.
I really think the day one pay-per-view, like I feel like once Roman caught COVID, everything kind of just got flipped up.
Yeah, everything fell apart for him, bro.
Yeah, because still to this day, I don't think he was going to lose the title that night. A lot of people say that Seth Rollins was allegedly going to win that night, but
it's like you don't know though.
I don't. Yeah, it's like you really don't know at the end of the day. So it's hard to judge, but I think that Biggie is still had a lot of great runs, and one feud in particular that reminded me, even though the actual feud wasn't that great, the match between themselves was great. The match between Biggie and Drew McIntyre, because I think very highly of Drew McIntyre, and I'm gonna talk about him next in a minute, but I think very highly of Drew McIntyre, and I think he had a really great run as WWE champion during the pandemic era.
Yeah, he did.
But there's just something about the way that like Biggie is able to move around the ring that it kind of reminds me of Keith Lee in a way.
Yeah.
Like
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like the speeds might be a little different, the movements might be like one might be able to flip just a little bit better than the other, but as far as like everything else, like I think both those guys like possess a lot of the same styles. And
yeah,
for me, whenever I see Biggie fly around like that, I'm just like, how is this big dude like doing all this stuff this fast? So that's one of the reasons why I mess with Biggie so heavy. And then what are we on for my female? My fifth female?
I believe so.
Okay, yeah. This is my fifth female. My fifth favorite is I gotta give it to my girl Sasha Banks. Okay. And I feel like whenever she came into the pandemic era, I feel like kind of the opposite kind of happened with her that happened with Bianca. Like, even though she put Bianca over at WrestleMania, I feel like kind of after that moment, like she just kind of went missing. So it was kind of hard to kind of like pinpoint like still how good she was, because it was hard to like see her in action all the time. You know what I mean? Like they kept her off TV a lot.
Facts.
But at the same time, like with all the accomplishments that she's done, and just with everything that like she's put on with the 4 Horsewomen and everything, like for me, like top 5 doesn't make sense right now without Sasha Banks in it.
Okay.
And my fifth favorite guy, Drew McIntyre, man. When Drew McIntyre
just stabbed somebody with the sword, bro,
like a million times, and tried to decapitate Baron Corbin on live TV.
Just stab somebody, bro. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's wrestling. It's okay. You're allowed to commit felonies as long
go
as
ahead and commit homicide. Just make sure you're in the ring when you do it.
Yeah, as long as you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
But yeah, so okay, you want to run down your list one more time?
Yeah. So my list for the females: Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley,
Mm-hmm.
Liv Morgan,
Mm-hmm.
Sasha Banks.
Oh, maybe she was number 4.
Oh, yeah, she was my number 4. Okay. So my number 5, I'm gonna give it to Charlotte Flair because for all the obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Don't even gotta mention it. And then for the guys, my list was AJ Styles, Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, Biggie, and Drew McIntyre.
All right. So we're gonna get into our first weekly segment, y'all. This is gonna be this is a fun one. This is gonna be fun every time.
Yeah.
So this is the Platinum Max Caster bar breakdown.
Big platinum.
Big old platinum. Give me 1 second because my shit signed me out, of course.
I was gonna say you gotta find it.
Yeah, I gotta re-find it again, I think. Or maybe not. Hold up. Ad money. Yeah, you're not getting an ad on here.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so we're gonna do this every week. This is gonna be part of the show. It's gonna be the Max Caster bar breakdown. We're gonna review the bars that he spits on AEW, regardless whether it's the day before on Dynamite or if it's from the week before on Rampage. We will review the bars for you. We will play the bars for you. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna judge him and we're gonna have a good time because he low-key can rap. That's the funny thing. So,
and the funny thing is it's slowly not even becoming low-key anymore.
Yeah, yeah, this was during the Battle Royal last week. You know what I'm saying? He came out freestyling on niggas who were wrestling. Like while they was going at it though. You know what I'm saying? Like they're mid-scrap. He come out with just battle rapping niggas. So that's their whole gimmick. It's Platinum Max Caster and Anthony Bowens. Their tag team name is The Acclaimed. You know what I'm saying? And they're one of the gems of AEW. If you hear how big of a pop they get when they come out, like they're due for a push pretty soon, I would say. This might be,
and they lasted pretty long in the match, which also lets me know that that push is coming.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, nah. If the Young Bucks came out, then that's too late. My bad, y'all. Give me 1 second here. Oh no, that's Pink Pants right there. Nope.
It's all good. These are what edits are for.
No, we in here. It's all good. Listen. Oh, dang. I had it. All right, there we go. But yeah, so we're gonna review the bars every week. You know what I'm saying? You can actually go on YouTube. There's like 14 clips that this dude posted of just various, clips of Max Caster coming out to the ring and just dissing his opponents. They also do music videos dissing them, which is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? They'll just drop a video on their wrestler ops. You know what I'm saying?
The wrestler ops.
I mean, that's what it is. All right, there we go. Let's get it. Yeah.
You gotta feel this instrumental. Beat is hard.
The beat is hard. That's the thing about it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so this is a battle royal. You know what I mean? They were coming out like Royal Rumble rules. So here we go. Y'all hear that pop? That's the crowd going crazy.
Acclaimed in this match, Tony Jump. We've been the top great tag team. And FTR, you ain't safe. I'ma send your asses to ROH. And Top Flight can't be victorious. Y'all are tweaking like the kids on Euphoria. We the reason for the people in the seats. Y'all are less popular than Glenn Jacobs' tweets.
The Acclaimed have arrived.
Big Acclaimed.
Oh yeah. So I would say that those are
that's like at least an 8 out of 10.
yeah, those are some top tier bars for sure.
He knew it was the battle royal, and
yeah,
he did not come to play.
He didn't come out slacking. You know what I'm saying? Off the rip. I'm gonna send you all to ROH. I'm liking that. You know what I mean? Tony Khan had just bought Ring of Honor, and
what, like, maybe, and just announced it like an hour before that.
Not even an hour before that. It was like 20 minutes before that he had announced it, and then he came out and said that. So that was a rumor going around. You know what I'm saying? But good bar. I like that one. So I'm gonna send y'all back to ROH. That on the fly. Good bar. The Euphoria bar, that was nice. You know what I'm saying? Keeping current event bars going. You know what I'm saying? And timely. And then, of course, we have the Glenn Jacobs tweets bar, which was phenomenal. That's a 10 out of 10 bar for me. If you guys know about the situation, then that's extra hilarious. Glenn Jacobs is Kane from WWE. For those of you who don't know, he's also the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. He is a Republican mayor, so therefore he typically says anti-left-wing things, So basically, he said, I'm very much paraphrasing, but he basically said, hey, Putin doing the right thing because, you don't get what you want unless you just use force and kill people. In the left wing, their entire ideology is about being weak. So we shouldn't invade Russia, though, but, that's what it is. So that's what he said. And then Hangman Adam Page, under his tweet, posted some funds of how you can help the Ukrainian people and all of this stuff. And then he posted a video of Kane getting hit with chair shots in the head several times to basically say this is why he's saying this, because he's been hit in the head so many times he doesn't know what he's saying.
Gotta love it.
Mad other wrestlers came out and basically shitted on Kane after this, and Adam Page's tweet received 30,000 likes, I want to say, whereas the tweet that he was responding to, which was Kane's tweet, received about 3,000 likes. So that's what we call a ratio. So he got severely ratioed. Actually, what would that be? 30,000 to 3,000. He got 1,000% ratioed.
That's bad.
Yeah. So, salute to Kane for providing us those Max Caster bars. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going overall, I'm gonna get at an 8.5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get at a solid 8.5. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Where are you thinking about that?
Yeah, I was saying 8.5, or 8 off the rip, but I'm not mad at 8.5 at all.
I'm gonna give him an 8.5. You know what I'm saying?
Not mad at that at all.
Plus, Notorious Euphoria.
That was incredible. Because,
I like that. I like the rhyming in there. You know what I mean? I'm a rhyme pattern guy.
Yeah, not a lot of people rhyme like words with like Rius or like the Eus thing at the end, and not a lot of people flip that in like memorable ways, and the way he did that was great. So I'm gonna give that an 8.5. I'm gonna give that an 8.5. The ROH bar, a little simple. It was good though, because it was a freestyle. You can tell, like I said, because the announcement was just made. It was simple, so I'm gonna get that one right there as an 8. The the Euphoria bar, that's a solid 9 right there. And then the Glenn Jacobs tweets bar is definitely an 8.5 right there, which makes it an 8.5 altogether. So that's how I'm rating that one. So all right, the next thing we got on the agenda for y'all is AEW is having a pay-per-view called Revolution. Ooh, yes, they
stacked ass card,
all-star lineup.
So we're gonna go through the card and give our
star lineup
predictions for it. So
this is gonna be hard for a few of these, and especially because of a few things that happened on Dynamite last night,
and a few things that happened in the wrestling world in general. And I will start off with the first match of Wardlow versus Keith Lee versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks versus Orange Cassidy versus To Be Determined.
There's a To Be Determined?
Yes. Face of the Revolution ladder match.
Wow.
So the reason why I say things have happened in the wrestling world, obviously, is because Cesaro is no longer with WWE, and he did not get released. His contract was over, so he is a free agent that is able to sign wherever he wants immediately.
That is a fact.
With that being said, I'm going with Keith Lee for the win.
I am also going with Keith Lee for the win.
I'm going with Keith Lee.
Yeah, you don't bring back Keith Lee in this big way to have him not win this one.
Yeah, no.
Even if Cesaro comes back in the match now, let's say Cesaro does come back in the match, I think he'll get to the bottom 3 people.
Yeah,
but to me, Keith Lee takes it.
I'm thinking Keith Lee. Yeah.
All
right, next match we got Andrade El Idolo, Matt Hardy, and Isaiah Cassidy from the Andrade Hardy Family Office is their tag team name or their stable name, versus Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara. So the Gothic dudes and the Spanish God. I'm going Sting, Darby, and Sammy.
I'm also going that way.
Matt Hardy's probably gonna leave them and wait for Jeff. He's gonna do some more erratic behavior and random extreme signs.
Yeah, we're getting an old Matt Hardy character back.
Oh yeah. Then next we got Jericho versus Kingston. If it's a straight up 1-on-1, I got Kingston.
I think Jericho's gonna win, but I think Jericho's gonna do some cheating.
Yeah. If it's shenanigans, Jericho wins. But if it's a straight up 1-on-1, I got Eddie Kingston. Next, we got Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley.
I got Bryan Danielson, man.
I
got Bryan Danielson. It's that one is a real toss up, but I think I got Bryan Danielson.
I think you're right, but I could see it being Jon Moxley too because he's never beat Bryan Danielson. But that could be why Bryan Danielson wins, and then they form the stable, they do their thing, and then later on they split off, and then Moxley has to fight Bryan Danielson again. He finally beats him. Win. That's probably how they do it. So yeah, I think you're right. Bryan Danielson wins.
Early foreshadowing.
Yep. So we got MJF versus CM Punk next. I got CM Punk taking that.
CM Punk.
Jade Cargill versus Ty Conti. I got Jade Cargill, even though it should be a banger of a match.
That's going to be one of the top 3 matches of the night.
Yeah.
Underrated.
That's going to be, I think
Ty Conti is going to show out.
I think
she's going to show out.
So is Jade Cargill. They both are.
Yeah.
That's going to be great.
Yeah.
This is a great card. I don't even know what's going to be the match of the night. I don't know, bro. Next, Jurassic Express versus Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. I got Jurassic Express.
Yeah, I got them. They're the current tag team teams, right? Yeah, I got them retaining.
They're going to retain. Young Bucks and Red Dragon are not going to be able to be on the same page.
I agree.
And Jurassic Express will take advantage of that. Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa for the AEW Championship.
Okay, I was about to jump the gun because I was going to say Thunder Rosa, but after last night on Dynamite, after she won, I don't know anymore.
I'm still going to go Thunder Rosa only because, again, AEW is sort of a smart company, and I think they know when things have worn out their welcome, when it's time to kind of change stuff up.
I think so too. Here's why I still think Thunder Rosa is going to win, because I think the Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker split is it's kind of along with the Wardlow and MJF storyline. That split is inevitable
for sure.
So I don't know if that's going to tie in specifically on Sunday, but in a indirect way it might, and I think that's going to cost Britt Baker. I think every time she's won the championship, it's been at the assistance of the crew.
Yeah, exactly.
This time it's going to cost her.
Yeah, that could happen too.
But I would
especially because Thunder Rosa has Mercedes Martinez on her side now too, so she has the equalizer. Whereas that's the thing that everybody else has fucked up, which didn't make any sense with Ty Conti. Like, Anna Jay is your best friend. Why wouldn't she be out there off the rip? Why does she have to come out after the match, after they've already cheated? And her and Britt Baker's homegirl has been out there the whole time.
Which, that's she's still doing.
Yeah, that's the thing that no good guys ever done.
Yeah.
Like, just bring your homie with you off the rip, and then that shit will probably go your way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So hopefully she does that. If she does that, she's winning.
Yeah.
So, or if Mercedes Martinez comes down before the end of the match, like
Right.
if she, you know what I'm saying, something like that happens, then Thunder
and that
Rosa's
way it
got
would be clean interference all the way around, and then
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa could still technically win clean. So
Yep.
yeah.
And then Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole for the AEW World Championship. I got Hangman Adam Page retaining.
This match, I don't know if it's going to be match of the night, but it's going to be a banger.
Yeah, it's going to be super
It's
fire.
going to be a banger.
It's going to be super fire. So yeah. I think on the undercard, Hook is fighting QT Marshall, and obviously Hook is going to win that.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Yep.
All right. The last segment for the night, ladies and gentlemen, which is another weekly segment that we're going to do, is our Pick a Wrestler segment. And what that will consist of is I will pick a wrestler for Eric. Eric will pick a wrestler for me. What we will do is we will take their current circumstances as of whatever day we're recording. So today is March the 3rd, 2022. So as of that date, whoever Eric gives me in story, you know, to work with a storyline, I have to take their current circumstances, work with that, and basically freestyle a storyline for the next 6 months for them. And vice versa. So that's how we're going to do that. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay. I am going to give you Adam Cole.
All right.
So Revolution has not happened yet.
All right. So, and you said what we're doing, 6 months?
6 months.
All right. So Revolution comes and he loses to Hangman Adam Page.
Okay.
So
how does he lose? Clean.
Yeah, let's go clean.
Okay.
Let's go clean loss. Yeah, he loses clean to Hangman Adam Page, and then he wants to climb his way back up the ladder for the AEW World Championship.
Okay.
But he has to focus on the turmoil that's going on within his clique.
Okay.
Because the Young Bucks and
Red
Dragon keep getting into it, and he don't know what to do about it.
Okay.
So pay-per-view comes and goes. We get a Dynamite where he's basically still caught in the middle, and we get a moment where he's finally about to be fed up, and he's about to be like, if you guys can't get it together, then I'm just gonna lead off and do my own thing at this point, because I don't know what's going on with y'all, and without a strong force here to lead both you guys to success, I don't know what to do, because I'm doing everything I can and I can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So then at that night, Adam Cole has, let's say, a match with, let's say, Bryan Danielson, because I don't even think they've had a match yet.
I don't think.
Yeah, so let's say Bryan Danielson. Let's say at the end of the match, when Bryan Danielson is about to win from the submission, let's say both teams come out at the same time. They try to help split them up. But in the midst of that, they end up fighting each other.
Mm-hmm.
Cost Adam Cole the match. Bryan Danielson wins.
Okay.
Once that happens, Adam Cole starts screaming at both teams. Bam, Kenny Omega's music hits, and he's back.
Okay.
So we bring Kenny Omega back in the picture, and we basically kick off the Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega feud. But
I now need to let you know, again, just keeping the situation where it is right now, Kenny Omega still has not had surgery, which he does need. Continue.
Got it. Okay. So
he could probably not do that much wrestling off the rip.
Okay,
Like
so
probably no wrestling off the rip.
So
just
we're gonna start the feud, but we're gonna slow walk it because obviously
Yep.
we can't wrestle yet. So we're gonna slow walk it, and the whole time, basically, we're gonna have Kenny come back and trying basically for the next like 3 to 4 months. We're gonna have Kenny and Adam's ear basically telling him how he should be running things.
Mhm.
And Adam is going to try to run things exactly how Kenny wants him to run things, but nothing ever goes right.
Okay.
So every single time he listens to Kenny and tells his team, go out and do this, they lose every single time. Through that, the whole time it's building up, both teams keep getting more frustrated. They keep getting more frustrated. They keep being like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you're giving us bad information or if Kenny is giving you the bad information to give us, but whatever it is, now we want out.
Mm-hmm.
So come towards the time that Kenny is like starting to get ready to
make his comeback.
That's when Adam and Kenny really start getting into it, because Adam is like basically figuring out like, yo, you've been feeding me crap this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything that you've been telling me to do to get these guys to win hasn't been working. And then Kenny's going to be like, no, it's not because it hasn't been working. It's because you don't know how to do your job. You don't know how to get them to exit. You don't know how to lead. You don't know how to get them to execute. If it were me back in that seat, like it was before I left, none of this would even be happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get Adam Cole one night just addressing Kenny Omega, just telling him to come to the ring. And basically Adam talking all this crap like you're lucky you're still injured. And if you weren't, I would kick your ass in the middle of this ring myself. But then Kenny does start to kick his ass in the middle of the ring. And then that's when the tag teams come out. They don't know what decision to make. But at this point, they all look to Kenny, and then they just all start just taking their turns on Adam Cole. But then at this point,
everybody.
So
this is Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. They joined with Kenny Omega and kicked Adam Cole out.
Yes,
got you. Okay.
But then at this point, and this is a wild card. So you could play this story out in the build up towards the Kenny and Adam Cole match.
Mm-hmm.
But as the saviors, I would let Hangman Adam Page come out and save Adam Cole.
Interesting. Okay.
After all that time, after all that feuding, let Hangman Adam Page come out, save him. So you can kind of tease the Kenny Omega verse Hangman feud rematch. Exactly. So you can kind of cap that off, but also set up the basically next program for what is going to be Kenny Omega's comeback match against Hangman Adam Page. And that's basically where I would close it off for it, because obviously you got to give Kenny time to all the way heal up and stuff. But I would fuck it, like
pretty much set that up, and then the next pay-per-view you got Kenny versus Adam, and Hangman versus whoever. And
because Kenny's character is so good that he doesn't even need to wrestle. He can just do his character stuff behind the camera, and bam, you're golden.
Okay. All right. I like that.
All right. For you, I'm gonna say let's go with Asuka.
Okay. So are we assuming that Asuka is able to wrestle and she's just not being used right now? What are we assuming with her medical situation? Because we really don't know.
Let's go with the rumor that's saying she's going to come back in the spring.
In the spring?
Yeah.
That's how far in the spring are we talking? Because it's March 3rd.
We can say May.
May?
Yeah, okay. After, because that's post WrestleMania.
So she comes back in May, and then I book 6 months from then?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me see. May WWE schedule. I just need to know what the pay-per-view is going to be.
SummerSlam is in there somewhere.
For sure. Oh, Backlash is in May. Okay. Then I got Money in the Bank in July, SummerSlam in July. Okay. All right, cool. So, Ronda Rousey's the champ on SmackDown, and Bianca Belair is the champ on Raw. And Shotzi's still WWE, right? She didn't get released, right?
Nope. She's still there.
Okay. All right. So we have Asuka. She comes back at, what was the first one that I said? Backlash. She does not come back at Backlash. Shotzi goes up against Ronda Rousey at Backlash and loses.
Okay.
The next night on Raw, the next SmackDown, she comes out, you know, Ronda's cutting a promo or whatever. Shotzi comes back out. And you know, she's basically saying, you know, you got the best of me, all good, you know what I'm saying? I definitely want to run that back though. Ronda's kind of talking her shit, like, you know, get to the back of the line, you know what I'm saying? And Shotzi says, you know, I wasn't ready for Ronda, but I know who you're not ready for. Leaves it at that. Goes back to the back. Ronda's like, what you mean who I'm not ready for? Like, I just beat you. What you mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Doesn't say nothing, right? Continues to have like just, you know, solid matches on SmackDown against, you know, whoever, you know what I mean? She's winning these matches and good matches. Then lights go out at the end of, you know, a match on one of the SmackDowns, like leading up to Money in the Bank.
Right. Yeah, because that's the next one that's coming.
That's the next one that's coming. That one's in July. So leading up to Money in the Bank, the lights start dimming after her matches. And that very beginning sound right before Asuka's music hits, that boom, that hits when the lights turn out, but the music never kicks. She doesn't ever kick out. They don't show any mask, nothing like that. Just that.
I like that.
And then that's it. You know what I'm saying? And then Ronda's still standing there, like kind of tripping in the ring. The last time it happens, it's right before the pay-per-view. Money in the Bank. There's going to be a women's Money in the Bank match. Shotzi's in it, you know, and it doesn't really matter who the other people are. There's seven people that are in it. 7 people plus Shotzi, you know, so there's 8 people total. So then at the last one before the Money in the Bank, Shotzi versus Ronda rematch, Ronda goes over. Same thing happens. Lights cut off, same sound. This time the mask pops up on Titantron. Music hits. Da-na-na, da-na-na. Music comes, everybody's going crazy. Asuka dances to the ring, blah blah, doing her shit. Helps up Shotzi, you know what I'm saying? Shotzi just kind of smiles at Ronda. Ronda's like, oh shit, basically. Asuka gets on the mic. Ronda's not ready for Asuka. They jump her. You know what I'm saying? Get a huge pop. All right. So Asuka kind of heelish though. She's kind of being heelish, right? Because they jumped her.
Yeah.
But everybody's super excited to see her back. So it's really just whatever. So Money in the Bank comes. Shotzi wins the Money in the Bank. She is like teaming with Asuka, basically. They're like kind of doing a tag team thing, but Asuka is basically letting Ronda Rousey know, like, yo, I'm gunning for you though. Even though Shotzi's got the Money in the Bank, I'm gunning for you. So there's, you know, they're doing the tag team thing. It's almost like some Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss type of thing, where it's like they're both singles wrestlers, but they just rock with each other.
Right.
That's basically how we're treating this. We're not really treating them like a women's tag team.
Right.
Like we're treating them more almost kind of like how Sasha Banks and Bailey are. It's like they're just forever intertwined, even though they're not officially a tag team. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. It is what it is, but like we know they rock with each other. It's that type of situation, right? So Shotzi wins Money in the Bank. Asuka is gunning after Ronda. That starts to cause slight friction between them, between Asuka and Shotzi, you know, because Shotzi's like, yo, I got the briefcase. Like I'm going at her, you know what I'm saying? And Asuka's like, I'm trying to get at her too. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's the conflict. Like we cool, but you know, like we both got the same goal at the end of the day. So you get to SummerSlam now. So at SummerSlam, Asuka versus Ronda is the setup. Shotzi cashes in before the match starts, turns it into a triple threat. Shotzi takes the pinfall to Asuka. Asuka's the new champ. Shotzi feels betrayed, so she wants her rematch versus Asuka. Ronda feels like, you know, I wasn't pinned, I should get my rematch. So at this point, we're only 3 months in. So let's see, what is after SummerSlam?
I like the setup though.
So yeah, after SummerSlam, Asuka's the champ.
Brings Shotzi and Asuka together without really bringing them together.
Yeah, because that also elevates Shotzi at the same time.
Exactly.
So then after SummerSlam, oh shoot, I went too far. Okay, after SummerSlam, then Survivor Series appears to be the next pay-per-view after that. So that kind of rounds out the story. By the time we get to Survivor Series, Shotzi and Asuka have already, you know, they've fought for the title on, you know, whatever, a SmackDown or a Super Show. There's a Super Show in there too. So I don't know if that's pay-per-view or not, but whatever. So
one of those Saudi Arabia shows.
Okay, so cool. So yeah, pick Super Show then. Super Show, Shotzi versus Asuka. Asuka retains. They're okay though after that. Like they're like, all right, we got it out the way. Like, okay, we see who the better one is, you know, blah, blah, blah. So Shotzi at this point, sort of it's like a teacher-student sort of relationship, you know what I mean? Where Shotzi's like, you know, sort of trying to impress Asuka at this point, because she's looking at you like, okay, you're the Empress of Tomorrow, so I got some shit to learn from you. So at this point, it's more of a student-pupil relationship going forward. Ronda's still in the mix though, so you get to Survivor Series. It's gonna be Asuka versus whoever the Raw Women's Champ is. Let's say it's still Bianca. They have a banger match. Who it doesn't really matter who wins, you know what I'm saying? Because of Survivor Series. Next pay-per-view, whatever it is, I think you have Ronda and Asuka. They go at it. You can have Ronda win at that point, taken into WrestleMania, and then you can have her fight whoever. So that's how I'd bring Asuka back. I would bring her back through Shotzi. That way you can bring Shotzi up at the same time, make her more of a big deal. She's kind of the proxy of Asuka, you know what I'm saying? They're both Japanese, they're both colorful. Well, not Japanese, I'm sorry. They're both Asian. Like they're not, I know Asuka is Japanese and I forget where Shotzi's from. And it's like one of her parents is from somewhere, Philippines, maybe something like that. But you know, it's the, you know what I mean? WWE, you know, that's how they do shit. Like,
exactly.
You're both close enough. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they'll put you in a race even if you're like
not that. Like Yokozuna was Japanese forever, even though he's Samoan. So, you know, shit like that. So, yeah, like WWE would do this. So, you know what I mean? Shotzi and Asuka, close enough, quote unquote. That's how they would feel. So, you know what I mean? But the other parts of their persona also, though, like aside from the fact that they're both Asian, like they both dress similar, they're both colorful, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff. They dye their hair colors, that type of thing. So, you know, it can elevate Shotzi. it brings back Asuka in a strong way, makes everybody excited to see her. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, she comes back to a strong feud.
Give her a nice little belt run.
Give her a nice little belt run. It makes her credible
in front of people.
In front of people, it makes her credible because she defeats Ronda Rousey, which Asuka would probably be a good pick to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because like realistically, who else on the roster do you think could actually fight Ronda Rousey and win? Like on some real shit. Like Asuka is probably one of the only ones who's believable. Like, she might know some shit to be able to. She like has a jujitsu background or whatever. She might be able to actually like scrap with her. Like Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler are probably the only other two, realistically. Like, you know what I'm saying? Outside of that, like anybody about to actually fight Ronda Rousey and win. So So that's why I feel like Asuka would be a good conduit for that also. So that's what I would do. So
I like that.
All right. Well, I appreciate you all for joining us. You know what I'm saying? On our first episode, you know what I mean? Of the
whatever this is.
WWE, the E stands for Eric. One of the W's can stand for my first name. And, you know, whatever. We'll figure it out.
The S in Shane stands for Shane McMahon.
Yeah, definitely. This is your boy Shane O'Mac. You know what I mean? But no, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be dropping every week. We will be recording probably on Thursdays and dropping on like Saturdays probably because I got to drop my sports podcast. Shout out to Finish Strong podcast, Seawood and Bree. They drop on Fridays on YouTube and on SoundCloud and on Apple Podcasts.
All facts.
So we'll probably drop on Saturday, you know what I'm saying, to let that one breathe. And then we'll bring this one in on Saturday. So yeah, you listen to us and then you watch the AEW pay-per-view Sunday. So that way you can review with us next week. You know what I mean? So we appreciate y'all. We'll holler at y'all next week.
Yes, sir.
This is your boy Shane G. Make sure you follow me on all the social medias at Shane_MWC. Follow my brother at
The Eric G Life on all platforms. Yes, sir.
There it is. We appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Holla.
Peace.